Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Dreamcloud Reviews. We are Dreamcloud. This is John over here, DC Buckethead, Dre Gothams, and we got Ace.
Welcome back.
Been a long time since you guys saw us in this position, but now we are back again and ready to go over a new movie that came out. It is Robocop. It's a reboot of the 1987 Robocop. Has a very strong following, almost like a cult following, one of those classic action, bloody but cool science fiction-y movies. And so they decided to reboot it. Basically, the main plot is this kind of good, wholesome, all-American police officer gets mortally wounded. This corporation, Omnicorp, that specializes in armed forces, robots, that kind of use for our U.S. foreign policy as far as like anti-crime, anti-terrorism.
Yep.
They want to bring it to U.S. soil, but the public is kind of anti that because there's no kind of human element. They can't relate to the people that are going to be kind of protecting us if it's just machines.
Exactly.
Here comes Alex Murphy. He's mortally hurt, and Omnicorp takes this opportunity to turn him into a Robocop. Take a look.
Why is America so robophobic?
We need to give Americans a product they can love. Figure they can rally behind.
We can't put a machine on the street.
Forget machines. They want a product with a conscience.
Time to wake him up.
Make him more tactical. Let's go with black.
Quality Control, EM 208 versus Tin Man.
Wow.
We are going to make a lot of money.
He's coming.
Gonna play good cop, bad cop? Bad cop, Robocop.
So that's kind of a glimpse of the new take on it. A lot of that action going on. So first off, I want to know what's your thoughts on it. How did you like the movie?
I really enjoyed it actually. The old Robocop came out before I was born, but I was able to watch all three when I was younger, and I felt like it did it justice. It didn't go too overboard on high technology and all these crazy things. It was just, it all made sense. Good flow, great dialogue, great plot. Nothing too easy for him. He did get pretty messed up, so I felt like the conflict was, I can understand the conflict was real.
Invincible.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't just overpowering and destroying everything. I really enjoyed it. I definitely give it probably an 8 out of 10. It wasn't mind-blowing just because it wasn't an original concept, so unfortunately I can't say that, but I really enjoy it. I'd recommend it. I'd watch it again. I would buy it for $1.
Me personally, I was skeptical walking into this movie. Whenever people do remakes or they decided to redo a movie, I'm always thinking man, they should have just left it alone. It was a good movie. Why touch it? It just makes me think that people are running out of ideas. They're just kind of looking back at their archives. Let's remake this, let's remake that. So walking into this movie, I was really, really skeptical. Now walking out of the theaters, I found myself really, really satisfied with the movie. I grew up during the time, yes, I'm an old guy, grew up during the times of 1987. I watched the first Robocop. I enjoyed it. I was like, they're not going to do justice to the new Robocop. Personally, I thought the new Robocop was done tastefully. They didn't try to incorporate the old Robocop and let's just remake the whole same plot as the old Robocop. They had their own plot. It was different ins and outs for bad guys and good guys, and it just had its own story, which was very well. Good job on that take. But overall, it was a really good movie. Now, I know John gave it a 8 out of 10. I personally would give it a 7. I don't know if I'd pay the full ticket price. I'd wait for it to be on a matinee. Definitely a good, probably DVD, red box type of take. But I really, really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it yet, You won't be wasting your money at all.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I love the original RoboCop. Big fan. I was really little when it came out. I remember my dad having it on VHS.
Yeah.
Surprised that you let me watch it so much because the first one was really bloody, really gory, a lot of cussing.
Oh yeah.
I think it was when it came out, it was like PG-13, and it later got bumped over to an R when they had to redo the whole rating system. But load of action, super cool because it's a freaking robot. Going around doing like pinpoint laser shots between like a girl's skirt, super awesome.
Great
Like,
scene, by the way.
stuff like,
He's gonna kill her, man! He's gonna kill her!
Your move, creep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam, you have suffered an emotional shock. I will notify a rape crisis center.
So I was a big fan. I was very skeptical. I remember when I first saw the trailer for it, I even thought he looked all wrong. I think it showed like the black kind of armor for the new RoboCop. Like the visor looked awkward. So off the bat, I was just kind of holding on to the old nostalgia feel. And then it slowly kind of grew on me as I kind of accepted this is what it looked like. When I saw the actual film, I was really surprised. I actually really liked it, and overall, it's like, in my opinion, it's a better film than the first one. As weird as that may sound, like, I guess I have more attachment to the old one, as we always do when you're kind of young and you grow up with things. But as a film from start to finish, I would say this new one is better. The plot, you guys mentioned the plot. The plot's a lot better. It's a lot kind of fleshed out. In this movie, they deal a lot more time to focusing on his family, on Murphy's kind of interaction with the family before the accident and after. I was kind of wondering your thought. And like the first one, they just kind of, it's like almost like memories, and it's like hazy, as if like he doesn't have reception on like those old TVs. If you guys remember, he remembers the TVs where you have to put the foil
and then you had to turn a knob.
Yeah.
In order to turn the channels, you only had 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and maybe even 11 if you
After
were rich.
13.
13.
So UPN was getting a lot of love back then. a lot of UPN. So like, what did you guys like seeing the stuff with the family, or was it slow for you?
No, absolutely. Always character development. I know we kind of talked about it, but like character development. They made us fall in love with him, so to speak, because they wanted, as an audience, you're watching that, man, like, he's such a good father figure, he loves his wife, everything's there, something horrible happens to him, they turn him into a hero, and then, they rise him up, like, okay, he got shot down to rock bottom, but now he's coming back and, doing this thing, so I really enjoyed that whole story. Behind it.
You over there, Ace?
It sounds kind of weird. As much as I enjoyed the new RoboCop, I felt like it lacked action on my sense. I think kind of slow. Kind of slow on my part. I was waiting for more. Like, all right, cool. I want to see the robot in action. I love the character development. It was great. Maybe if they added maybe an extra 20 minutes, they might even add it on a DVD for a bonus feature. But you're looking at, all right, cool, man. Like, we're rooting for the RoboCop, and I felt like they kind of like showed his quick action, and that was it. Like they didn't have enough action for me. I know in the first one they showed a lot of blood, a lot of gore. But it was a lot of action, and it lacked character development. But you still had an attachment with RoboCop. I think this one was your attachment with RoboCop and his family, and it was good. I would have wanted to see more action from the new RoboCop.
That's a fair point. It's interesting. They did try to focus more on the actual Murphy as opposed to RoboCop.
Yes.
Murphy, he was played by Joel Kinnaman, I believe, who I thought did a really good job.
Very good
He had
job.
good presence,
really good job.
Good acting. Everyone actually did really well acting. Him, the wife. There was, of course, that one man who always makes every good film.
Samuel Jackson!
Samuel L. Jackson, that's right. So I thought it was good. It was weird. The first one, he's just a RoboCop. He's Robo, and it's kind of cool because we haven't seen it before, so you kind of go attached to him. In this one, like one thing I didn't really like was it seemed like the good element of him being like human and like having decision and stuff, they took that away from him, which I thought was weird. It's like, okay, he can make decisions. He's gonna be like a cyborg, But since he's already have dope skills and can do all these things, like you see him struggle with the choices to make, which is the whole point. But then they just kind of cheat through that. We don't want to give too many spoilers, but they do things to kind of mitigate his human element in it to where he's ultimately just kind of on like cruise control, like pilot, like cruise pilot, where he doesn't have any control. So it's almost like, why should we care? That's the way I felt at one point. I was like, well, he's not really doing it himself, so he's basically...
He's just a computer with a face.
He's a cyborg, you idiot!
Like a,
a human.
It was almost exactly,
that's
a conduit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like the corporate wanted to control him, like completely. You do have your own sense of free will. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but I got a sense like looking at Robocop that was like the public and nowadays, and the corporate wants to take away your free will. I don't know if this is getting too Kanye West on you.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway. Kanye. I've been doing this more than you.
I mean, you can get Kanye.
Sway has all the answers.
You don't have.
Come on, chill out.
No, but I really did feel like they were trying to shut down his free will and his decision making, and the corporate wanted Robocop to act like an actual robot.
So, question. So, with that, did that make you like? I feel like that killed some of the action. Like, did you care that he's going into the action knowing like, oh well, he's on cruise control or he's on autopilot?
I mean,
even though it's kind of weird because in the first one he was too, but it felt like he was still doing it. It's like it wasn't like a program was telling him to do it. He was just a cyborg that was doing it, as opposed to someone's controlling all this stuff from behind the scenes.
I just, it's kind of hard. I just really felt like it just lacked action altogether, and I could have cared less or could have not cared less if the corporate was meddling with them, but I just felt like it just didn't have enough action for me.
I know you had a point when we were doing like the little pre-discussion. You didn't like kind of the choice where in the first movie he actually dies.
Yeah, so
spoiler.
Little spoiler. I mean, we all, if you've seen the first one, he dies. They they shoot him up. They kill him with the headshot.
Blow his hand off.
Yeah, they blow his hand, like they just they mess with him. But he was, in the first one he was dead. They literally reanimate him. Okay. And in this one, it was more of he gets badly injured, and it's one of those things where, which I thought was a brilliant kind of move that the writers did, but they basically a man that if he survived, he'd be not a vegetable, but it'd be a horrible way to live, horrible, just super injured and all that. So they kind of took it like, okay, let's make him a bit more robotic, add our tech to him, make him our face of our company, and go from there. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. I mean, it seemed realistic, but pretty soon it's gonna be like, we'll incorporate robotics into our leg, and to replace like our ACL, we'll put like a robotic one, and it could do the same thing. I'm sure that's the next advance in medicine. So it made sense.
It kind of rang more true to you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's cool. And like I said, they did a good job as far as kind of giving sort of not really like anecdotes, but kind of like tips of the hat to the old version.
Yeah,
and not copying it too much. So some of the famous lines and kind of like moments that people loved from the first movie.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Yeah. They were able to incorporate in that one, but just kind of kept it in the proper flow of the script. Yeah. So I did like that. I did like the plot. It's just like, it's weird, like, because I thought it was a better film, but I think I still enjoyed the first one more. And the way I see it was, when Robocop came out, I was still young, but it didn't seem like there was anything else like that around.
What are they gonna do, replace us?
It was like sci-fi and this, big. And right now, there's so much with the superhero movies going on, and watching it and watching the action, it felt to me like it's like, okay, we don't have the rights to Marvel, so we're just gonna make our own Iron Man. Yeah. Like when he comes and flies down and drops down in his suit and everything, it just looked like Iron Man. I mean, so it's kind of like, it was cool, but I felt like, all right, I've seen this a lot lately, so it's kind of harder to be like, have super strong feelings afterwards about it, even though I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I think it was better.
Yeah. I mean, one aspect of the movie that I did like, I find myself somewhat of a comedic person, just a little bit. They added little elements of comedy with the famous actor Jay Baruchel. I don't know if you know who he is. It's this guy.
I ejaculated in my pants.
Anytime he was on camera or whatever scene he was on, it added like a little sense of humor, and it kind of lightened up the movie. So that's what I thought was kind of a genius part on the writers. It's just they added some sort of comedy in it, not too much, of course, but just whenever he was on screen, it was a good scene.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it seemed like overall people had positive, thoughts on it. You guys liked it.
I'm happy I saw it.
To go over your score again, like what would you give it? You said
I would go 8. I'd definitely go 8.
10.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Gary Oldman. And
7.5 on a good day. Depending on what movie theaters you go to, I felt like $13 on my end was like, man, that's a lot. But I really enjoyed it. 7, definitely a good matinee. DVD.
What movies have you been watching?
7, for matinee.
He's old, remember? Like he was.
But he gives it a 7
and
won't go. You wouldn't. So it needs to be like an 8 or above. Like what? You're not gonna watch any movies in the theater.
I'm kind of confused. I thought it was my opinion. I'm sorry.
So we have an 8. We have a 7. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 as well. I really enjoyed it. I was happy that I spent the money. Like afterwards, I felt like, okay, you know what? I'm happy I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was they took enough elements from the original, from the source material, to do it justice and to satisfy the fanboys and all that stuff. And they did enough to make it their own and different.
Absolutely.
The one thing that hurts it is that I feel like I've seen so much of it right now anyways, because just everywhere you look, it's another superhero, and he's basically a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it's hard to, that's not their fault, really, so you can't take that away from them. But, yeah, I'd probably give it a strong 8 out of 10, and I'd recommend people to go see it.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's kind of it. If you guys have any thoughts or views, or you disagree with what we said, always feel free, comment below. We want to hear anything and everything you guys have to say. Like and subscribe for more movie reviews, video game reviews. We're going to basically review anything. John's haircut's probably going to be reviewed in the next video.
Lower than a 7.
And that's even not his opinion, that's just fact, right?
Yeah,
we're going to go as fact. And don't forget to visit the website, all the tees that you see us wearing and all of our videos. That's stuff that we just like to rock. So go there, check it out, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Peace.
Bye. Robot out.
I'd buy that for $1.